So, welcome to today. I'm Christine.
I'm Liz.
And we are Double D-Fense. We're an all-female New York Rangers podcast, bringing you fun conversation about our New York Rangers, the NHL and hockey, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
It is Sunday. It's a beautiful day again. And guess what? It's
What?
February.
It is finally February.
We made it through.
Jen, I liked, we have a group text and somebody referred to, I think a couple of days ago, as January 74th.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. This was the longest month of all time. For so many reasons.
Exactly. So we're here on February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day too. So I don't know what the shadow means, but whatever we need to correlate it to winning games is what needs to happen. So I think there's been a difference of opinion on some of the groundhogs that they use. So I don't know if you know what it means. It means we're all screwed. So
New York Rangers groundhog, looked at it. He came out and then he went nope, and he just crawled back in. He didn't say anything.
The Rangers are playing. I'm gonna go out and wait.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. But we're recording today on Sunday the 2nd. A little bit of an unusual day for us, but schedules have gotten a little crazy. We are recording just before the Rangers take on the Vegas Golden Knights at home. So that should be a good game. Quick will be in goal tonight. Hopefully we'll hit that 400 milestone that the Rangers seem to keep denying him in every way possible.
I know. I can't get it out of my mind. Like the last time he played, when they got scored upon within I think there was a minute left in the game, and he was just, it wasn't even just him. Whoever was in front of him was just, you could tell they were like, damn it. Like they were just so frustrated, as if they know they want to get him to this milestone. And look, we got Ovi chasing Gretzky's record. He's got 18 more goals to go. He's playing, it looks to be an average of, 18 minutes a game or so. So I'm like, who do you think is going to hit their milestone first?
I don't know. Quick has been one game away for a real long time at this point. I know. The Rangers seem very intent at not letting him get there, which is just so depressing. But in other, huge Rangers news, obviously we had yet another giant trade happen.
Unexpectedly.
This week. And JT Miller is now back as a New York Ranger and made his debut last night for the Rangers and scored 2 goals, which was a good start.
Yeah.
What did you think, Christine? What do you think of all of it? So we had to say goodbye to Chytil, which is very sad, and Mancini, and a 2025 first round draft pick.
That got immediately switched over to the Penguins. So they have Yay.
Sure. What do you think, and how are you feeling about this? Because I feel like Rangers Twitter, Rangers X, whatever it's called, seems to be like very divided on this.
I'm seeing more positive things, but let me just back up. This trade was so unexpected that they used Chytil's quote for the pregame statement, and they put it up, So that's how unexpected this trade was to like whatever it is. If they knew and they had an NDA, whatever it is, it still went forward. And sad to see it go. Okay, I have been having a couple discussions on this around, and for me, it's a wait and see, because my issue still remains with consistency. I still have people yelling forwards and defense, which is the whole team, really, right? Like if you're going to lump those two together, you have the whole team. I think there could be a benefit, possibly, because he's back with Trocheck, so a new bromance will be forming. So I really want to kind of start seeing the hug order, at the end of the game, to see what happens. Did he produce last night on 6 hours of sleep? Absolutely. So, and even Trocheck scored a goal, right? So So I can't judge it until I see a little bit of consistency again, so we also put out a statement. I think I shared it from Molly Walker that basically it's not out of the woods to continue trades. And that, that has me leery of how we can perform. If that's still on the table for stuff, how are these guys performing if they're, they could be on the chopping block. I was talking to someone saying, like, I'm surprised VC wasn't in that trade because he actually has been speaking out. And the last one he spoke out, is playing in Seattle and doing really well, by the way. So the argument kind of goes back to kind of things we've talked about is like, on a case of VC, they're saying like, oh, he's not really good. And as professionals and grown men, they should be out there and performing to a level that makes people want to keep him. And I'm like, okay, but if he's not given the opportunity, to be out there to do it, then how is he ever going to be able to show it? And we're still seeing, Mika and Kreider getting that ice time and being counted upon and relied upon over the other guys who are actually performing better. So and I think that's frustrating for me too. Is like we're not seeing them kind of working up to their potential, and who's paying the price? Not them, but our other guys who really are doing well.
Yeah, VC. I don't think we've barely seen him at all this season, and his statement was something along the lines of like, "Oh, I really love this team. I want to be a New York Ranger, but I'm not having the opportunity." That's really upsetting, but especially when they're losing. Like, it's one thing if you're like, man, I'd love to be skating, I'd love to be playing, when the team is winning, and then you have to go, okay, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But right now, everything sucks. Why not shake things up a little bit? And I don't know, maybe it comes down to coaching. Maybe there's something else. I don't know if Laviolette's going to last beyond this season.
I still don't think it's him. I mean, he's still taking direction from Drury. So, honestly, because if it was really a coaching thing, he would have been gone by now. So, I think there's more to it, and so there's more direction from Drury because he seems to be very vocal about things. So, and that's kind of why. So, sometimes people's hands are tied with things. The coaching is one thing, and again, the line change. We're still seeing line changes. We haven't seen people being called up or put back down. So let's see with these trades if they can just stay the way they are right now. We're all healthy, knock on wood, and
ish, except for Edstrom. Edstrom got injured the other day, so he is. I think he is not playing in the game today.
Okay, we'll see.
So we're almost all healthy. So interesting. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about Chytil? Chytil has been
go and shine. He's going to be amazing. They think this is the trend that we have too, So you can do a whole, college report on like the benefits of being traded from the Rangers, So, so everyone seems to shine really well. And of course, what's going to happen is they all come back and score on us when we play them, So, but what I do find interesting, and I think I was talking about is, typically in the past, we've seen trades kind of within our conference and stuff. And I feel that these trades are so deliberate to move these guys. And you were talking about as far away as possible, but all it means is that we're not going to interact with them more than, twice a year.
Yeah.
Unless we make it to the finals.
It's like the breakup, but you don't you move really far away. So you rarely have to run into
there's
your
no
ex.
strategic, it's like he knows they're good and he's trading off a good deal. So, he doesn't want to come back and bite him in the butt. That's kind of what I'm feeling. It's just it's a gut thing. So regardless, it's what's happened. And now the hope is kind of like what we saw with Panarin, and whatever. When they came, when the besties kind of played during the playoffs last year or prior to the playoffs. And now we're seeing Trocheck and Miller back, playing together. So there was some life that kind of got brought into those friendships, kind of coming back together. And And that's what we're going to kind of see. So yesterday was good. It gets confirmed if it's consistent. So if we're going to see that same consistency and that same, like, let's see, is he better that he gets a good night's sleep, like a full night's sleep? And if they're going to stay on the same line and produce, then that's what we need to see. We did still lack shots yesterday. So, and then I think we evened out toward the end of it. So, I was sure that we'd have this game yesterday, and it got out of our hands.
Yeah, I think it was getting close to JT Miller potentially scoring a hat trick. John from Locked On Rangers was talking about this. He basically said if JT Miller scores a hat trick and the Rangers still lose, everyone will collectively lose their minds at the same time. Oh, yeah. And he came close. He did come very close on that. I don't know. I'm wondering about the future of the Bromances on this team and where, if this shakes things up enough that now that Trocheck has his best friend, because Trocheck and Miller were very good friends. And apparently Chris Drury called Trocheck to ask him first to get like some reconnaissance about JT. And so now they're back together. Hopefully that chemistry works. Maybe that lights a little bit of a fire under Mika or Kreider, but I got to be honest, the way both of them played yesterday, it didn't seem like they even cared at all.
Yeah, the problem with them right now is they're just too predictable. They're really not. Kreider goes to the net, Mika goes to his. I mean, it's just if. Everybody's got their number, so, and then they yell when they're not producing. I'm like, yeah, because the other team knows what you're going to do. So, and what they don't know is what Rempe is going to do and what Edstrom's going to do and that's why we're doing well with those lines.
Yeah. So, keeps them on their toes for sure.
Are you guys ready for playoffs? You bet we are. And we're ready for NFL because it's just right around the corner. And you can get on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, right? And you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Are you ready to place your first bet? New customers with DraftKings you bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So if you're ready to place that first bet, try betting something simple like player to score 6 or the first player to score at all, like which team is going to win. Make it easy, make it fun, and enjoy your first time betting on DraftKings.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
You just got to remember, the more popular the guys are and the more they have their signature moves, the more that predictable that they are. And that's where they're focusing on it. What you got to do is get the younger guys on the third and fourth lines to get a little crazy and do crazy things. And that's how we're going to produce on those. And I think that's what's really been happening and why they've been doing pretty well. So, so I kind of like to see more of that. I really think yesterday too, they should have pulled, Shesterkin out. I don't understand at that level when I don't know. I mean, when you're down and at what point in the game do you say, we got to figure out how to win this game and try to do it?
Yeah.
And if Shesterkin's already let in 3 goals, just what does it hurt to kind of put somebody in fresh and kind of, and I kind of go back to 2 years ago when we were playing New Jersey, when they switched out their goalie, right at the start of that where we got, we made it 4, but we got owned. And part of that was this mental, you go in knowing the goalie and knowing how you can take it, and then they switch it out real quick and you don't really have time to figure out, how to retrain your thought in doing that. And so it kind of adds in a little bit of, mix to the pot, to kind of help out. So that's what on the coaching side, that's what I don't understand. We see other teams that are quick to pull out their goalie and change him, for things. And we could be up 7-0. It doesn't matter. They're still going to, keep Shesterkin in and let Quick just sit there. And
unless they were specifically like resting him to start today to give him the best chance of winning. I feel like today. I don't know. I
don't think that way. I think it's more of a I don't know. I could be wrong.
But they probably like an ego. No, we no offense to our male listeners, but maybe it is a slightly different way of thinking about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Rangers do have a couple of very interesting games coming up before we get to the Four Nations break, which is not the All-Star break. It's Four Nations break.
Hey, it's 2025. We can call it whatever we want. We're there. We're already there.
So the next couple of games, Golden Knights are in first place in the Western Conference. So that's going to be hairy. Then they play the Bruins again on Wednesday, the Penguins on Friday the 7th, the Blue Jackets on Saturday the 8th, and that's the last game before the Four Nations.
All right, we need to win. We need to win all. We should not have more than one loss.
Yeah, and right now we're still out of a playoff spot. It's not looking great, but it's also the Rangers are still very much in the running to potentially eke in at the last minute to the wildcard spot.
There's still plenty of time, and in reality, even though January was 800 years long, we actually did pretty well. They lost 3 games, 1 in the beginning and 2 at the end, and so and we're only 1 day into February. So somebody had asked me, can we, while I was doing my toast to surviving January, are we going to be able to survive the Rangers? The answer is yes. You know why? Because it's just a game. We're fans. We watch it. We're win or lose. We can grumble, moan, groan, yell, do whatever, but we're just fans. So, but to more kind of go into it, there's still hope, and you got to kind of, as long as it's a tight race, and if we can get that motor running or get that bus to arrive on time, as we always kind of say, then we should be looking at a better February. And I know we got a break in the middle, and again, this is where I find, and I feel like I'm channeling Steve Elliott. This is where I find when we come back, where hockey's the most excited, this is a part of the season, because it is like a home run derby. It's just a home run stretch to kind of get everything, and everyone's vying for that. So everything's really close right now. And win or lose, this is what I like. It's where everything's really exciting. And we should start to see kind of better playing hockey, more stressing, more fighting. Like there's just going to be more intense play. And that's what we want to kind of see. And if this team is settled in by then when they come back, then we're going to see a good run. So and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. And we got a couple people going and playing. One of the things is Vakanainen was just announced to be on one of the teams. So that's good. So some of these people are going to be staying home, doing drills, hopefully, and then the other ones are going to go and kind of maybe learn something by playing against their competitors in a different way. Is what I'm hoping. And then you take those secrets back and you use them to your advantage, guys. And
you're not on spring break.
Yeah, well, they will be, but hopefully they're just getting content, reconning and getting some information they can use to their advantage to get through the home stretch. And just right now, all you need to do is get in there. So we got to do that. And we have a habit of when we win, everybody else wins. So it's got to be, we got to have some help here, people. Someone's got to lose so that we can gain the points. So that's kind of our luck too. I think there's a lot of Irish people in this organization that kind of dooms us with Murphy's Law.
So let's talk a little bit about the Four Nations. I think we've been tracking a little bit of the announcements, the teams, the jerseys. I think were just officially released, which is kind of fun.
they had sneak peeks a while ago, but they've kind of really like released them. And I don't really know if I like them though, but but
Well,
yeah. So
which one's your favorite, just from an aesthetic point of view?
None of them. I'm not a big fan of any of them. I would maybe pick Canada. I don't know. I mean, it's Canada. I think the reason I like it seems like it's kind of just true to Canada form, and then the other ones are. I mean, yeah. Oh,
I think that there was a lot of decisions that went into the jerseys that might not be super apparent when you first look at them. There's an article on NHL that talks about Canada has a 13-point maple leaf inspired by the first representation of what would become the Canada flag. So there's a lot of like just messaging and details in each of the jerseys, which is really kind of cool to look at. When you're just kind of looking at a picture of them, or I'm sure when they're on the ice, it's going to be, it's not going to be super obvious, but there is some very cool detailing.
The symbolism is wonderful. Look, and we saw this in PWHL for a lot of the things they did, from their trophy, to their logo, to the team names and stuff. And I love that we're kind of seeing this because, here I am. I'm looking at the jerseys. I'm like, I don't really like them. But look, we're learning about this. So, just kind of adding to what you're saying with the way that the maple leaf has the 13 points. I mean, look, they're talking about even the trim isn't white. It's maple white. They really went into details of the symbolism for stuff.
I do like that. And there's something about the Four Nations I think is very cool because, as Americans, we don't often have rivalries. Like, our rivalries are always within America, like within the leagues that we watch. Or
and geographically close. They're
yes, absolutely. And or the Olympics. That's really the only time that America competes like this on a national stage, international stage. And a lot of European sports, a lot of international sports, this is not an uncommon thing to have multiple nations playing each other. And it's really cool because if you're American, you're not going to get traded to Finland because you can't. That's not part of it. It is part of the being supportive of your country and the national identity. And I think it's fun. All politics aside, I think that the Four Nations is very cool. I hope this becomes a regular event for NHL players because it is super fun.
It would be, what I'd like to see is, if they continue to do this, that we're not picking the same players either. And so, because that's where it begins to kind of get old. This is really exciting, but all week I've been, I'm always harping on this, right? Because when you watch a Chicago Blackhawks game, you can be drunk within the first 5 minutes if you took a shot for every time they said Bedard, and it's crazy, So we're, and it's. There's 10, I was even thinking about, if you walked up to someone who didn't really know hockey and asked them to name 10 hockey players, and you did that for 10 people, how many of those 10 would be the same? And it'd be likely that out of these 10 people, you're going to have at least, 5 or 6. The majority of them would be the same people. And think about how many people have played hockey, So that's what I like to see. And hopefully you guys are listening. Play your heart out.
I'd love to see.
Who?
I would love to eventually see more countries participate in the Four Nations. Make it 6 nations. Make it 8 nations. The challenge becomes, for a lot of countries, their hockey programs are not as developed as, especially places with cold climates. So there are a handful of countries there. There's multiple countries represented by NHL players. There is one Australian player currently playing in the NHL.
Okay, so we need enough to make a team. So we understand that.
There's three French players, 4 from Belarus, 5 from Latvia, 6 from Denmark, 8 from Germany. Then you start getting into like 10, 11 with Switzerland, Slovakia. Czech Republic would probably be the next one, as long as Russia, or like maybe they can figure out a way to allow Russian players to play on a team.
I say they let the smaller countries band together, and that would be a jersey I would like to have, And
that would be great. That would be so fun.
The other version, yeah, you're right. Like, so I'm curious to see how this is going to go. I was kind of looking at the schedule, and I when I looked at it, I didn't realize that it was like a whole week long of how we're, doing that. I know we're getting together to watch the Saturday events when it occurs, and so it'll be. I'm excited to kind of see the fun things and how they show the games and how those games are gonna kind of be played. Sometimes when we're seeing the All-Star break game, the game is just it's just for fun. I think there's gonna be more of a battle for this.
Oh yeah, there 100% will. And politics aside, because I really don't think we should be getting into it on this podcast, but there is going to be a rivalry intensely between the U.S. and Canada, as represented by your shirt. Very, very.
By the way, the women's hockey team, yeah.
So I can imagine that there's going to be. It'll have a different intensity than it might not have had a year ago.
I know that we do. The only thing we'll touch on is kind of what's happened yesterday, and we maybe are expecting it to happen more. Our kind of some of the vocalizations, I think, at some of the games, and and so as fans, I'd say just kind of support your team, support the people around you. Buy a Canadian a drink, like do something nice, for things. I mean, I'm with Canada right now. I'm going to stand for my own self. These are my words. I support everything. I want everything to continue to kind of go through and not interrupt our sport. Right now it's a release for things we've gone through. We've just gone through fires and weather and crazy different things, that are happening around that are having me concerned for my friends. We just got through a whole week of 24 hours making sure we were okay going through things. And this has been a good release, not just for me and you, but for other people to do. So I don't want to see any interruption with anything. So so keep it all out. Let us play our sport and let's have our thing and just continue on. I think it's gonna be a really fun thing. If this format, I want to hope it works out so that just like you're saying, so we can build on it. I'd like to see that progression and, and potentially do more things, because the women were involved in the All-Star break last time. They're not necessarily involved in this. And I want to kind of see more of that interaction as well between all the professionals within the sport. And to your point too, the other countries, we've just gone and we're starting to, we did an exhibition series and playing, I think, a country, like some of the teams, outside of the United States. So why not kind of include some of those players in there and maybe have a mix of, a professional and semi-professional players. Don't forget, we have a whole AHL and ECHL and other leagues that would kind of be fun to kind of bring them up and play during these breaks. So many potential things we can do. If you and I are running it, it'd be a bigger party and way more fun.
Yes.
So let them play. So we also got a shout out today from our, our podcast friends over in Vegas. That's on our story. They are saying hi to us on Instagram. We shared the story too, waving hi back. So we definitely are looking for a fun game. It's Vegas, which is geographically close to us, but not geographically a big, opponent to us, nor our Kings or Ducks over here. They're just a fun team. I actually do like Vegas. And when we go there, it's a fun time. So, and
then following the Four Nations break, we do have another Rangers West Coast road trip to look forward to, where we will finally get to see them play here in California. Hopefully more than once.
Yeah. So definitely, if anyone listening to this, if you're in the California area, or you're planning on coming back, you gotta let us know, and we'll be organizing a good pre-party for that. And that'll be at the end of March. So, and during the week too. So just make it.
I think they play. Yeah, I think they play on a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, and then I think then there's like a 3-day break, and then they play the Ducks like on Friday. I think it's something crazy. So don't want to look that far ahead. We have to make it through this month.
Yeah, we're just
taking one day at a time.
Yeah, we're all at a point where everything is just one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, whatever it takes, whatever you need to do to get through it.
And one quick update too for everybody, for California. Yesterday or the day before, it was announced that both of those huge giant fires that we were, that nearly located to are 100% contained. And so we had nice rain last week. And so everything's good. So it helps us to kind of ease into February. So, what we don't need is a Groundhog Day. We don't need this day again. So we want to end, we got a game in a few minutes. I'm going to, I've got my 400 ready. We're definitely watching quick, and we want to get him there. We're watching Ovi and his 18 goals. Do you think it's going to happen? I think it's going to happen this season. I think they're going to give him as much time to get the opportunity to score 18 goals.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And I
think they time things. So if they, since they're in playoff position, they might even just time it so that he makes it during the playoff thing, which makes it just more, that special.
I would not be surprised. We need to get our friend of the podcast, Peter, back on as well as Ovi gets closer to that as our Capitals correspondent. But in the meantime, Christine, enjoy the Rangers Golden Knights game. Hopefully we get to see Quick actually cross that threshold today.
and also we have to adjust to Miller having 8, so I think yesterday we were talking about, it was a little confusing to me. So my mind had to catch up with what was happening. So you got 8. I know Liz likes to automatically yell at Miller, but now she has to
to figure out which Miller I'm yelling at.
She's yelling at. Which one are you yelling at? So, the amount of texting we do between games is crazy. And of course I'll be on a delay. so it's all wonky anyway. so we enjoy every second of it, and let's go play a really good game. And Quick, I'm all for you.
We're hoping
today. I got my post ready to go, and so we'll be rooting. So fingers crossed. May the best team win, and may we shame Vegas Knights a lot tonight. Don't forget, if anyone's hearing this, when you play Vegas, anyone going into that penalty box, shame them and shame them loud, because that's what happened to us.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you soon.
Have a good day, guys.